Dooba dooba dooba.
Hi, welcome into Flat Flip, I think is what I'm calling it. I can't think of anything else that's more suitable, so I'm going to call this probably Flat Flip, although it sounds a bit weird. But welcome into the first episode of Flat Flip. This is my series that I'm starting where I'm going to flip my flat. Okay? So, if you've been around for a while, you might have seen what my flat currently looks like. To be honest, if I'm referencing the flat tour that I did when I first moved into this flat, everything's changed. So, I'm going to start off, before we even get into it, I'm going to start off with giving you a tour of what the flat looks like now, because everything has changed, other than the wallpaper. It's completely different. So, let's go. I'll give you a tour of what the flat looks like now and what we're working with.
So, we're starting in the hallway, as I always do. You see this painting, she's cute, whatever. I literally did it in like an hour. I just needed something to fill the space at the time. I do think, however, I can definitely do something that's more cohesive with what we're going for, so that'll be changing. Over here, we go into the living room. Don't get me wrong, this is like pretty clean too. Like, I've just kind of tidied it up just so you kind of get a real sense of what's going on. But like, obviously, as soon as like this gets somewhat messy or whatever, like it's just a lot visually to look at. This is then the kitchen, and once again, like there's not too much wrong with it. It's just, it could definitely function better, and design element wise, I feel like I could make more of the space. And like up here, I hate this situation. So I'm gonna be trying to find something up there to make that a little bit nicer to look at. In terms of like prints and stuff, they're all changing. This artwork's coming down. Bedroom, this artwork will be changed. Obviously this is the bedroom, this is the situation. Once again, don't hate it, actually love her. She's my prized possession right now. Don't hate it, it's just not exactly what I'm feeling anymore. Like, to be honest, they're the main spaces that we've been making over, but I have got plans for obviously this space too. Got all my Funko Pops. This is obviously my office slash art studio slash wardrobe. So just like a big creative space, to be honest. This is obviously where I make videos. And yeah, it serves purpose for what it is, but it also can be way better. I'm not too fussed about it being too cohesive with the rest of the flat though, so bear that in mind. And this will probably be done last. And yeah, that's basically the space. Like the bathroom's here. There's literally nothing going on in there, like that's not changed at all, probably won't change much either. Then this is just a little laundry room, just needs to be decluttered.
So now, into the reason for the series, why I'm actually wanting to change my flat, because plot twist, I don't hate my flat. I don't think it looks ugly, I don't think it's not me in any way, it's just a bit much. Like I think personally I'm changing, and I feel like my flat hasn't really changed with me, but I also haven't really changed that much as a person yet, but I see myself changing in how I express slash like clothing, everything, like all the things. I'm trying to just like minimalize, chicify, if that's not a word, I know it's not, but I'm trying to be more of a grown-up man, if you will. I think that's what it is. I think I'm finally maturing to a place where I want something a little bit more sophisticated. Now, that's not going to mean that this is going to be me making my flat boring. It won't be, I promise, because that's not in my nature. I have fun plans, but it's things that are going to make it more cohesive. I think that's the key word, is I think I need it to be a little bit more cohesive. A lot of the flat, it does go, but there's a lot of elements, a lot of stuff happening. So that's the main reason why I'm wanting to change it. And also just on top of that, I love decorating, I love renovating, I love those kind of things. So I think because I've been able to actually stay in this flat for longer than a year, which has not been the case for my other flats, I think I'm almost getting the itch to change things again, because that's why I've probably like switched things around so much in this flat already, is because I love creating a new space. if that makes sense. Now you've seen what we're working with and what the flat is looking like now, and I've kind of immortalized it for myself and what I accomplished here. I'm going to take you guys through, first of all, my Pinterest board, because I created a Pinterest board for like the vibes of the flat, and then from the Pinterest board I then have created 3 separate mood boards for the living room, which is the first space we're going to be tackling, then the kitchen, because that is onto the living room, so it only makes sense, like it's all one space. And then finally we'll be doing my bedroom. There might be other episodes, but I haven't planned them yet, for things like the hallway, the office, because obviously my office, as you've seen, it is vastly different from the rest of my flat. It's more just serves purpose for what I need it for, and it is my space to be creative, and I don't necessarily mind as much if it's like cohesive with the rest of the flat. So we're treating this as if it's like a 1-bedroom flat. First of all, we're going to start off with just taking a quick peruse through my Pinterest board. My Pinterest is like my best friend. I think Pinterest is a great tool to utilize for these kind of things, or anything creative, to be honest, like outfits, artworks, literally anything. If you need inspiration for something, Pinterest is like your best friend. This is not a sponsor, but I just love Pinterest. So I'm going to take you from the bottom upwards, because obviously like that's kind of like the order in which we go. So as you can see, obviously I started more with like an overall idea of what I want the living room mainly to be. So these were the main concepts for kind of like the living room. As you can see, it's like it's essentially still kind of fun. Like for example, it's got fun elements. Like I've already got the checkered rug, so that'll be staying. The stool and stuff, like the elements are still interesting, but the color palette is just brought back a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to be doing more neutral with pops of color rather than color everywhere, right? So these are the initial plans. I loved this one. This was the one that like really got me excited. I love the concrete texture on the wall. You'll see when we get into the mood boards that I'm going to try and like emulate something similar. Everything about this, other than the grey sofa, don't love the grey sofa, but everything else about this specific one, I absolutely adore. And I do think it's also something that I'll be able to somewhat replicate / make my own in this flat. Because what I've found is my main 2 styles are this kind of thing. On top of that, also kind of mid-century modern. And what I've found is difficult is I'm trying to put my mid-century modern twist on a pretty modern flat. Like it's a new build for sure. And I've just found that that's a bit difficult. So I'm essentially trying to lean into like the modern elements of the flat and make them more me in a me way, if that makes sense. A lot of concrete, a lot of more like blacks, wood, white, taupes, sand colors, not necessarily creams. I'm not really wanting to go warm cream. I'm wanting to go more like grey beige, like a greige. So we've got this one. This is probably pretty warm. I just liked the sectional. I'm going to be trying to get an ottoman as well when we get into the mood boards. But as I mentioned, I've got a few different angles of the same spaces. Like I love this one too. I think this one's really nice, obviously because it is open concept, which is obviously more similar to my space. I love these kind of chairs. Now I do know that these are like Wasili chairs or something. Very expensive chairs. So I won't be obviously getting the exact chair unless I find it on like Facebook Marketplace. But I am going to hope to get some sort of dupe or something similar. And yeah, then I got into like a few more like specific pieces. So I really like these for like magazines or vinyls, this kind of thing. I liked these kind of pictures for like gay art. So like it's still gay, still definitely queer, but not arses all over the place. So I've loved this image for a long time. I'd probably love that to be a print. Who knows? That's my goal for above my bed. I fucking love this piece. Not as yellow, but something along those lines. Now we get more into the kitchen. Now the kitchen was a bit more difficult because there's not too much I can do with it. Overall, it's more just like elements here and there that I'm kind of wanting to bring in. You'll notice a lot of chromes and like stainless steels, which is going to be a nightmare to clean, but still kind of that energy. Love these stools. I don't really think I'll have a plan of getting rid of my current stools, but these would be ideal because that is just sick. And then we're more into the bedroom. Now the bedroom currently, it is quite serene, I won't lie. It's not as busy as the living room, that's for sure. It's more serene, but it's still kind of like a bit too funky, bit too try hard for my liking. So I think I can definitely scale back the colours a little bit more. So I'm trying to go a bit more neutral with bedding. I'll hopefully be getting a sconce and going a bit more like thin, minimal with some of the appliances. Like, I love this image specifically. Like, I love the bedding. I love the two lamps. I love how they don't match. I kind of like that about it. And then I once again just went into a few more like specifics. Like, I love this set. Like, I'm thinking sconce, actual lamp, few more coloured options just in case I feel like getting a coloured option as well, or even like a throw. I think a nice green throw would be really nice. But yeah, now, as you've kind of come through my Pinterest with me, we're going to go into more of a refined mood board situation. So let's go. So first and foremost, we're going to go into the living room, okay, which is what you're seeing behind me, okay? I've got many a plan for the living room that I'm hoping to bring to fruition, okay? So here's the mood board, here's the ideas. I'm kind of just going to start with whatever tickles my fancy and we'll go from there. As you can see, it's still kind of fun. I'm keeping a lot of the same elements, like I will be keeping the rug, I'll be keeping my coffee table. It's more just switching out certain prints, obviously going for more of a neutral colour palette with like a red, blue, green pop here and there. Love these three prints. I'm pretty sure they're from Drool Art or something. So I'm hoping to be able to order from there. Obviously, I'll be keeping my vinyl wall. That's why I've kind of like included that section there. Now this here, this coloured little swatch here, unfortunately this wallpaper is going to be going. Although it is gorgeous and it is originally from the 70s, it is going to be going. And I think that's actually going to help a lot with scaling back a bit because that is obviously very busy. This is one of the swatches, and it's the one that I'm, just from seeing it online, it's the one that I'm probably guessing I'll go towards. Obviously, we'll just see when we get them in person, and we'll see in that episode. But yeah, so this is the kind of idea for the wall. It's kind of like a lime wash / like concrete effect crossover situation. Like, I was initially looking at some true concrete mural situations, but it looked a little bit too perfect concrete, if that makes sense. Like, I think the beauty behind having like a raw concrete wall is that it is very individual, you know, like it's not something that you can recreate. Like, concrete is just kind of concrete. So I didn't really want to go too literal on the nose, so I have leaned a bit more into this like more lime wash effect. So it's still got a little bit of something going on, like it's not just a flat wallpaper, but still. Now you'll see down here, we've obviously got this darker green Togo, and as you saw in the clips, I have a Togo sofa. I have that exact Togo sofa, although I have it in a more bluey green. Now, since getting the Togo sofa, I've actually not liked the colour that much. Like, I've kind of put up with the colour because I love the sofa. My idea is to hopefully be able to dye the fabrics. I'm pretty sure I'm able to take the cover off of the sofa. Like, I think it zips underneath, so I'm hoping to be able to dye the fabric, but if not, it's not the end of the world if it does remain the same, although I would rather it be this kind of like deeper green, a little bit more muted tone too, because currently it's a bit more like greeny blue, which is not bad, but it's not exactly what I'm going for. Like, I'm kind of going for like the colours, like you can see in the swatches up here. Like, I'm trying to go more true to the colours rather than like a little bit more in between. But we'll see what happens there. That'll be an experiment. We'll have to find out if that comes to fruition. Obviously, plants, that's a given. Up here, you'll see this lamp here, which is my pride and joy, to be honest. She's from Resident Supply, I'm pretty sure. She's not fucking cheap, so just bear that in mind. I paid an arm and a leg for her, especially to get her like perfectly fitted to my flat. Like, it was even more fucking expensive. But she will be coming into the living room, just because I don't think she gets enough love in the bedroom. So she'll be coming in here. I think she's going to lean into like the metal, chromey, stainless steel vibes, and I'm very excited for her to come in here. This, I'm unsure whether this is going to happen, but I've put it on here just because it's in an ideal situation, this is what would happen. So if you see behind me here, I would love for that section to be wooden paneled. Like, I think that would be really cool. Obviously, the tone of the wood would depend on like what I end up going with when it comes to like the wallpaper. So that's the idea with that. I'm not hung up on that idea. If I can't make that work, I can't make that work, and that's totally fine. But I think it would be a cool addition. Moving on, this here, now I've wanted my TVs on the wall for a very long time because I love the idea of having TV on the wall, console table, being able to put actual like decorative bits on the console table underneath. I think that's a really chic look, and that's what I've been wanting for a long time. I am only renting, so I haven't really wanted to go to the effort of putting a bunch of shit in the walls. Having said that, I have put a lot of things in the walls, but they're easily patchable. I'm hoping to be able to get one of these stands, which I'm pretty sure that one specifically is from Argos. And I think last but not least, we're over here really, aren't we, with the living room. Obviously this lamp, she's really chic and she looks great, but she's been problematic since I got her. She's currently propped up behind the sofa because she has a really hard time standing up straight and exactly where you put her. She does swing a little bit, she's a bit crooked, but my sister has said that she'll happily take her off my hands, so I'm going to be giving her to my sister. A lot of the stuff that I will be getting rid of, to be honest, like the chair, that's going. A lot of it is going to either be donated to family, friends, whatever. I won't be throwing just anything away. I'll be finding other homes for it, or donating it to charity, or selling it on like Marketplace, whatever. So that's what's happening with the stuff that I'm going to be getting rid of. Kind of like the arc of this one. Now this one is from like an Italian brand and it's extremely expensive, but I've put it here just for inspo. So we'll have to probably find something cheaper, more affordable, that gives the same energy. But that's the idea, is having like still the arc, but more of like a chrome, stainless steel, metal vibe. And then in replacement of the big chair, I'm hoping to downsize it a bit and get one of these chairs or something similar. Because the thing is, I do love the chair. I love it. I worked with Flexi Spot on the chair and I love the chair. The chair is sickening. It's just too big and bulky for this specific space. But my mum has expressed that she is very excited to receive the chair, so it will be going to a good home. So that's what's happening with the living room. Next, we're going to move on to the kitchen. There is still a lot of chrome elements coming through, and I actually plan on hopefully changing the backsplash over where the oven is, because currently it's like a weird light blue that I hate. So I'm hoping to be able to change that and find some sort of renter-friendly option. For the most part though, it is going to be like a few new art pieces, a few new really gorgeous and chic appliances, and like just refining a color palette more, and also a lot of just organization. I think most of the kitchen makeover will be a lot of like organization and like storage, making it work and function better, so then not as much is on show, if that makes sense, or it just like functions better as a kitchen. Because right now I'm like kind of struggling for space for everything, so I'm hoping to also just be able to downsize in some of the stuff that I've got and like maybe get rid of some stuff, or alternatively find ways of storing them maybe above my current cupboards, because there is like a really awkward amount of space. Main things I'm excited about for this room really are getting my new appliances, because I've wanted them for ages. I love these two art pieces. Once again, they're from that Drool place. Love those two art pieces. Once again, the color scheme is still kind of red and blue leaning in terms of like pops of color. The rest is still once again kind of muted. We're gonna have a few obviously pops of like wood here and there, because I do already have this pantry set up. And I don't want to get rid of that because it does allow some great like storage and stuff, so that's not changing. So I do plan on obviously just leaning in a little bit into some warm woods here and there, and we'll just see what happens. And then yeah, just a few pops of red. Like I really want a battery operated lamp for my island, and this is my current coffee machine that I already own, which it works, but in an ideal situation I would get a bigger coffee machine, but it's not as dire in needs of like an update as my toaster and kettle are. So they're my current priority, because obviously Smeg is not cheap, but I have been wanting some Smeg stuff for a while. Easy stuff, shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, the kitchen's probably like the least worrisome of them all. Moving on, we're now going to go into the bedroom. Now I do enjoy having my bedroom be a little bit more serene than the rest of my place, because I do think, looking at the others, they do have obviously like pops of colour, a bit more bright in areas, whereas the bedroom, I do kind of want to keep it a bit more muted. The tone of like the blacks, greys, taupes, beiges, whites, that's all kind of going to stay running like as a running theme throughout, but the colour pops are going to be a little bit more muted in this room, with main pops just being kind of like a burnt orange and a green. Now this image down here in the bottom corner, that was like my favorite image that I found for the bedroom. I absolutely love the bedding, I love the tones, I love like kind of the scattered bedside tables, I love the sconce, I love everything about it. So bedding wise, I am definitely leaning more towards like an off-white colour, definitely still linen because I love how soft linen makes things look. Now this down here, this is really interesting. I have kept for years a really old mirror that I had, and I've already taken like I've taken the frame off it and everything, so it's literally just a mirror, like no frame, nothing. And I'm planning on hopefully DIYing something like this, whether that be with spray paint, some sort of like chromey spray paint or something, I'm unsure yet, but I'm hoping to create something like this from it, which would be really cool because currently it's just behind the door not doing anything. So yeah, I love these mirrors. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get these specific ones, but I am looking to get a lot of like decorative wall art that isn't necessarily art or prints, more like art pieces looking or like sculptures looking. Obviously this is more of like a mirror. I love that. Now painting above my bed, I am significantly over it. It won't be staying. I'm debating either painting over it or selling it. Now that would be a bit difficult because I wouldn't be able to post it. There is a few art pieces that I am going to get rid of, but I'm not sure whether I'll get rid of them, repurpose them like by like repainting over them, or you know, just getting rid. We'll see. But this art piece up here, I am absolutely obsessed with. Okay, this is incredible. This is exactly what I want for the top of my bed because it's still abstract, but I think it's still really visually interesting, and I hope and imagine it doesn't take too much work. I'm just imagining a lot of paint and kind of just like scraping it with like some sort of big tool or big fluffy paintbrush of sorts. I'm not too sure. We'll have to find out together. And yeah, that's kind of the bedroom. That's kind of the loose idea. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I will mention now that obviously these are just ideas. It's probably not going to look exactly like these kind of images. Like I'm probably going to have to source other things because I imagine a lot of these things are like probably designer, expensive pieces, you know, and I'm not trying to break the bank. Like my flat is functioning as is. I'm just trying to elevate it and refine stuff a little bit more. So yeah, we'll see what I can pull out of my arse. And hopefully you guys are kind of excited to get into this with me because I thought it would be best to like let you in on what we're going for before trying to go into it. Obviously, every episode that comes out, obviously pertaining to whatever room I'm doing, I will probably show the mood board at the beginning of all the videos, just so you kind of have a refresher. And obviously, if people haven't watched this, then obviously that helps them too. But yeah, hopefully you like the vibes. I definitely do. And I just think it's like this, but like the saturation's just turned down a little bit. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I do think it'll be like a couple of weeks until you get the first episode, but as I mentioned, they should be like fully fledged makeovers. That's why I'd rather have them a bit more spaced out so I don't have to like rush trying to get things together and like whatever. I want it to be perfect. So yeah, this is going to be a fun thing for us, I think, throughout this year. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me. Because like I mentioned, there will be little things here and there with the office, like trying to make that function better, maybe more organizational stuff. The hallway is very boring, very bland. I do want to try and make it a bit more exciting. I don't know how because there's not much space. Bathroom, honestly, I can't do much to the bathroom. It's pretty much is what it is. You know, like there's not much to be done. So yeah, that's the idea with the flat. Hopefully you're excited to come along with. And yeah. Thanks for watching if you made it to this point. Let me know if you have any ideas that maybe I've not thought of that you think might lean into this kind of aesthetic. I'd love to know. And yeah, I love you. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.